This is Tuesday, July 3rd. There are 15 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2018. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. Good evening. I am your host, James Riley. Joining me on the podcast tonight, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
And our special guest from Factory Entertainment, Tom Vargas.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so welcome to SDConCast. We'll be taking comments and questions at the end of the show, so send them on in by tweeting us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConCast. We will also be keeping an eye on the YouTube live chat if you want to comment there. All right, Carrie, get us started.
All right. Well, first of all, actually, for anyone who doesn't know, Tom, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Factory Entertainment?
Sure. So Factory Entertainment we are an exhibitor over at San Diego Comic-Con. We're at booth number 2647, as it says below. And we've been doing it for quite a number of years. And we make all sorts of fun toys and exclusives for the show.
That you do. And in fact, I see quite a few of them right behind you. And obviously, we've had all of your exclusive announcements this year, and it's a really good lineup. But I'm actually really curious, do you have a favorite this year?
My favorite from what we're doing will probably be anything that involves drinking for my own reasons.
That's fair.
So anything to open a beverage or to keep wine more fresh. So yes, I would probably say the Goonies bottle opener is my favorite one right now.
A lot of people love that one. And also, I think that Jurassic Park claw one is really cool. Like, that's just such a fun concept.
I mean, how could you not? And like somebody said on Twitter, once you're done opening a beer and you need to correct somebody who's, a little bit underwhelmed by dinosaurs, you just show them what a raptor does and set the record straight, I think.
That's right. That's right. So how do you actually go from concept to final exclusive? What does that process look like for you guys? How early do you start planning? What steps do you go through?
So the process is it could be a very lengthy one or a very short one, depending on how much time we actually have. 9 times out of 10, we literally start concepting the day the show starts. When we're walking around and we're getting the vibe from the show, and then we're looking at what's coming out the next year. So undoubtedly, we'll probably be at the show this year saying, okay, well, Shazam's coming out. What can we do from that potentially? So last year, when we knew that Jurassic was going to be the summer movie this year, we immediately started just ideating as much as possible. So the concept came from, well, the Hand of the Queen bottle opener that we did from Game of Thrones last year did spectacularly. Everybody loves it. And we said, well, what can we do to kind of incorporate like a bottle opener with Jurassic, and boom, light bulb, there it was. And now we have the Jurassic Park Raptor Claw bottle opener, which was actually one of the fastest things that we ever produced. Another one is Georgie's die-cast boat that we did, the little small one. That one, funnily enough, was inspired by a kind of fan-created piece. So if you go onto like Pinterest or you Google like Georgie die-cast Hot Wheels boat, that's what you'll see. And we said, well, why don't we do one, but from the new movies? So we approached the license, and they said, after they laughed for about 5 minutes straight, sure, why not?
I love that, though. Like, you guys always just do such really unique stuff. Like, I think those Barking Bad plush toys are just hysterical. But like you said, you've been doing this for a number of years. Do you have like a favorite exclusive ever that you've done?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really, really tough one. Well, I got a funny story. So the very, very first time that we actually produced a collectible, and this is from years ago, and the people at the company will kill me for telling it, but I'm going to do it. So the very, very first collectible that we came out with when we were still trying to come out with actual products was a print. It was a blueprint of the Golden Gun from The Man with the Golden Gun in the James Bond series. And so it was perfect. We were excited about it. And some of the people from the production side came over, or the license that came over, and they looked at the print that was on display before the show even started. And they looked over and they said, "That's great, but who's Scaramanga? And so we took the antagonist name, which is Scaramanga, and had a typo in every single one of the prints. And we weren't able to sell them at all until after the show. So yeah, I think there's like 3 copies in existence and I own one. So, just one of those. I think that's my favorite.
That is awesome. Speaking of things that attendees didn't necessarily get to see, so I actually know this because you and I have talked a little bit, but you guys had like a really awesome, I think, exclusive plan for this year that didn't get to happen. Tell us a little bit about that and like how things wind up on the cutting room floor.
Sure. So every once in a while, you'll come up with what you think is the most brilliant idea, like a Ned Stark plush head on a pike. And people tell you you're crazy. That'll never fly. Don't do it. So, that's one way of something just being automatically ripped up, torn to shreds. Never do it. No questions asked. Don't even think about it. So we were actually in the concept stages of coming up with a print for the movie Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. And it's much like the Back to the Future print that we had last year, where you have the DeLorean outside of the convention center just kind of really, really moving at 88 miles an hour coming in, for the show. That was kind of supposed to work with the keychain and so on. So I will show you what we concepted for Jurassic World. And here's what it looked like. This piece, and it's not colored yet, and it will be actually, but it was one of those pieces that was supposed to look like they were inside the convention center with the dinosaurs chasing the guests, and the guests running away from them, and just chaos. Unfortunately, it got to like one of those final stages where everything was going great and was about to be approved, and unfortunately it was shut down. And the reason why is a number. It's a myriad of reasons, and I can't really say exactly why, right. But there it is. However, that will be on our booth somewhere for people paying attention. There might be a nice photo op for people who are looking to take their picture next to it, and it should be fully colored at that point too. So there you go.
Well, I was just so excited for that. So I'm glad that it'll at least be there in some form. I'm really glad about that. And speaking
it was a fun print.
Speaking of your booth, James?
So your pre-orders this year are going to be running slightly different. You're going to actually have a pickup window just for pre-orders. Can you tell us about how that works and also why you decided to go that direction?
Sure. So the way that it works is, and I put the schedule up here just in case anybody needed a reminder of the hours and the days that the pre-order windows will be available. So we want to make it as convenient for everybody at the show. There is just so much to do at that show that it's very difficult to get around, get your exclusives in time. You're waiting in lines forever, and it's just, it's a big challenge. So what we want to do is make it less of a challenge. We really want the attendees to be able to get to every place that they need to go to in the time that they need to be there. So what we've done is we've dedicated a window within our booth, a physical one, where people who pre-order online and select in-booth pickup are eligible to wait in a much shorter line at their leisure, at their time, within this window, of course, and gets everything they want to do, plus pick up the best exclusives at the show, which we made. So that's it.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I know a couple of other vendors have been kind of toying with the idea, so I love that you guys are actually doing that, and hopefully it just makes for a much smoother process for everyone involved. But
that's really what we're aiming to do, and it's actually based on the feedback from the attendees. It's something that a couple of us in the company have been saying, hey, we should really do this, we should really do this. And at first it was met with some resistance. Well, isn't that logistically going to be very challenging? And how are you going to tell people to come at a certain time? Because at first the idea was, we'll just assign hours and they can come. And everybody kind of said, no, you can't do that. Well, everybody who's ever worked the show knows. So that's when we decided, okay, well, maybe we can put these windows here and it could be dedicated pickup times to where it can accommodate anybody and everybody multiple times during the day. So at some points they can get it.
And I think that's, again, I just love that you guys do stuff like that. Like, you actually listen to the fans. And I think a lot of that is because you guys are fans yourself. Like, I think you guys think if I was picking up, like, this is the process I would want, that kind of thing. But
Oh, totally.
let's talk a little bit actually about you being a fan. You have been doing something on Facebook that I really enjoy. You've been sharing your Toy Story, which is basically like how you got into the business and all of that. Like, talk to me a little bit just about your own background in this, like how you got involved in this world.
Oh, geez. I mean, it's lengthy, so I'll try to summarize it very quickly. I actually got started when I was 22 years old, which was way too long ago. But yeah, it was 2006, and I just walked into this place as a temp, and the person's like, you're going to be really excited about it. Don't do any research. Just go in with, an open mind. So I did, and I opened the door, and there's just AT-ATs and a Millennium Falcon and, all sorts of lightsabers and Darth Vader just kind of staring down at me. And I look at the receptionist. I'm like, yeah, I'm here to meet with a guy named Keith, and he's going to hire me today. And then from there, it's just been this whirlwind of crazy. I mean, we started as a company called I started working for a company called Master Replicas, which inevitably ended up turning into starting a new business called Factory Entertainment. And we've been doing Factory Entertainment for almost a decade now. So it's been a wild ride, and I am a huge fan, which is why I do it. I'm not driving a Tesla yet, but maybe one day.
Yeah, but you love what you do, and sometimes that's way more important.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I took some time off. I took a little bit of time off, and I worked I won't say where I worked, but I was a project manager, and it was a living, but not a fun one. And once this gets into your blood, that's it.
Absolutely.
I believe it. So since you've been working in the business for a while, you've been to Comic-Con a few times, but what was your very first Comic-Con experience like?
My very first Comic-Con experience was, or as an attendee or as an exhibitor, because there's kind of like two different ways to look at it.
Both, because those are really different worlds.
Yeah, as an attendee, I was gobsmacked by just everything that was there out in the open. That was like, it's like literally just this experience where you're literally seeing your entire passion everywhere. It's Disneyland. Although I'm a huge fan of Disneyland too, so it's technically separate. But no, I was just blown away at the fact that there were so many other people like myself out in the open enjoying the same things that I do. And what you find is this communal experience the second that you're there. And I believe that a lot of people feel that way too. As an exhibitor, it was holy chaos. How is any of this going to come together? And every year it feels that way. So, yeah.
Yeah, that really never changes. Trying to set up for a show, it's always an adrenaline rush with things flying in all directions, and then all of a sudden it's ready to go, and somehow you're mostly ready.
Yeah, and I admire what you guys do every day, and the fact that you're able to get all the news and from so many different areas and then post it online. But not only that, the work that you did, James, with the brown coats and so on and everything else. It's quite something to behold. If you ever get an opportunity to exhibit at one of these shows, I would suggest it, but be warned, it's not for the faint of heart.
Ooh. Not at all. So what about something that maybe some advice based on how many years you've been going, some kind of a little piece of advice you'd give someone that maybe you'd give to your first year self?
Hydrate or die, and don't party too hard.
That's good advice, really. That's good advice for everyone, not just exhibitors.
Yeah, I mean, water is your friend, and so is Tylenol and ibuprofen.
But what is too hard?
Too hard? Ooh, I think that's subjective. I think if you stay out past 11 o'clock, which is 3 hours past my bedtime, it's too hard. But again, there's people in panels who are waiting overnight just to get in, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, that's rough.
It is rough.
Yeah.
I would like to be asleep by 11, but does that ever happen anymore at Comic-Con? No, it doesn't really.
No, it really doesn't.
See, you guys, I mean, and you have so much ground to cover. So I can only imagine how tired you're feeling at the end of that. For me, it's a necessity because I have to wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to get into the convention center to unload pallets that are waiting for me at the booth at like 7 in the morning, so I can restock my booth. So I kind of like have to get back there. It's something, you know. But for you guys, I can only imagine. I mean, how you guys are able. You know, I see you guys every once in a while. We're crossing paths, and you look so energetic still. I'm like, how?
It's pure adrenaline. That for me, at least, I can't speak for James, but yeah.
Yes, Comic-Con is the one of the few places where I can basically be full of adrenaline and feel full of energy 4 or 5 days in a row and not really have a downer part.
Yep.
Until Sunday night.
Agreed.
Where it kind of all catches up.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have learned in 15 years ago, I learned that there is no way I will ever not take Monday off, Comic-Con off, because I need a full day just to get close to reset.
Oh, I hear you 100%.
I've used that money to go to Disneyland the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's right. I saw those tweets. I'm like, man, you're a trooper. How you were able to do that, that's outstanding.
Yep.
I'll tell you, for me, every Sunday we have a tradition. Us more of the people who pack up and set up and do everything. Every year, and usually we get out and with enough time to do it, we go to Joe's Crab Shack and we just order the biggest bucket of seafood per person that you can imagine. I imbibe quite a bit, and I don't wake up for like 2 days. That's just how it goes.
I think you're allowed at that point. But let's get to the fun stuff. So there's all kinds of stuff behind you. Why don't you show us some of it?
Sure. So the first one, and I want to talk about the Barking Bad plush, which is actually, it's officially licensed Breaking Bad plush, which is with Jesse and Walter there, but it's based on a category that we have called cosplay. And what it is are basically, like, if you can imagine pets that want to enjoy the Comic-Con experience by cosplaying, that's effectively what it is. So, you have Walter White or Heisenberg and Jesse Pinkman in their overcoats, and they're ready to appreciate the show.
This is like so wacky, but this is like tailor-made for someone like me. So I love it.
Oh, perfect. So another one that we got this year, and I'll try to run through these pretty quick because I'm sure a lot of people may have seen them already. Again, we came out with another one of our Back to the Future Time Circuit keychains, which features this year's dates. It looks a little bit like this in person, as you can see. And this year, though, it's different because we actually have a charm of the DeLorean right there. So you get the keychain with the dates and then the DeLorean charm. So that's a pretty fun one. And then we already talked about the Goonies bottle opener. Here it is in its packaging. I got Icy Vizarian there kind of guarding it, but there it is in its packaging. Very heavy duty bottle opener. It's going to open bottles no problem. It's a lot of fun. Here it is out of the packaging too. So there you go. You can kind of see that. And then let's talk about some of the Game of Thrones fun plush that we have. So this is Icy Vizarian. Sorry, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't caught up with Game of Thrones, but if you haven't yet, then I mean, you're not going to buy this, are you?
Right.
But basically, it's a bigger version of the plush box set that we released last year. But the kicker is his eyes actually glow like blue like that. So,
which is awesome.
Yeah, just like the White Walkers. So it's a dragon white, I believe. And I had a lot of fun with this one. And yeah, another one that we're coming out with is the Cubs, but we're doing so a lot. You may not know this, but these are the Game of Thrones box set Cubs. We're doing all 6 this year. And the difference is they're actually in a prone position or in a laying down position, as you can see. So they're not sitting like they were in the previous iterations, but they're laying down, and they're just awfully cute and awfully soft. I mean, if you have to get these. I mean, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, the direwolves are just to die for. I mean, really. And these guys, they're great. So they come in a great box set. Here's a little bit of what the actual packaging looks like here, or them in the box. So it's a nice collector box. And again, just really, really great. So moving on to the Georgie die-cast boat. Here it is in the package. Unfortunately, it's blood splattered because poor Georgie.
Wow.
You know, and then here it is outside of the package. And the first thing when we show this to people is they say, wow, it's heavy. Yeah, it's heavy. It's made out of metal. It's part of our heavy metals line. Unfortunately, it doesn't float. But if you use your imagination and really, really shallow water, maybe. It just has to, like, you know, kind of connect. But yeah, there's that. And then this is seems to be this year's favorite. It's the Raptor Claw bottle opener. As you can see, it's a 1-to-1 scale representation of the actual Raptor Claw, or the fossil Raptor Claw, from the original Jurassic Park movie. But the best part is it opens bottles. So it's a bottle opener. And here it is in its packaging. This is very fun. And with very clear instructions on how to use it, just in case you need a reminder. You know.
That's amazing. That's good.
So, and the last one is scary as all hell, but that's what I said. This is the Pennywise Premium Motion statue. And as you can see, it's based off of Tim Curry's version of Pennywise, and it also speaks. And it's absolutely terrifying. It's a thing of nightmares, so it's perfect. So you're going to want to pick this up. It's limited to only 50 pieces, and let's see if we can do a quick little demonstration of the audio. Okay, that's a little, yeah, now I definitely want it. So this is why I have an early bedtime. I can't even watch Stranger Things. So anyways, that's most of it. We've actually pre-sold out. So these will be available in the booth. Online right now, you can't order them anymore because we try to reserve an allocation of stock specific for online ordering. We want to make sure that people at the show are able to purchase these. So the online allocation for pre-order pickup and for shipping is gone. However, if you're at the show, swing by our booth. And I highly, highly recommend swinging by our booth as soon as possible to pick these up because these are going to fly out. I believe we only made 1,000 of them, and if there's anything like the Hand of the Queen bottle opener, they'll move very fast. Other than that, we had the God Killer Polished Blade convention exclusive from Wonder Woman. It was a prop replica. That we cannot take to the show for obvious reasons. Actually, we probably could. I believe if it's boxed, it's okay. I don't. You guys tell me. I can't exactly remember the rules. Regardless, we're not taking a sword with us to the show. It's just too chaotic, too many problems. But we're sold out of those anyways, so those are long gone.
And you guys, do you have a mystery box that you maybe want to show us?
Do have a mystery box. I almost forgot one thing.
Okay.
Speaking of other things, yes, our Game of Thrones wine stoppers. Those will be available at the show, and they're also available to pre-order now. They're based off house sigils, and they're a lot of fun. So yes, going back to the mystery box. I'm sorry because I almost forgot about that one. Yes, we have a mystery box, and it's $100. And it includes $250 worth of product inside of it. And I'd love to unbox one here for you guys. Just keep in mind that every single one of them is unique.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. Let me move this stuff out of the way so I can set the box up here and not break anything, hopefully. All right. So here is the size of this year's box.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes, and we will have handles on these. So they're easy to carry. They're not very heavy, but it is pretty big. It's just about the same size as last year's, but it is about 2 inches bigger on one side. So I just warn everybody, it is a little bit bigger, but there's plenty of stuff in here that's really, really awesome. So let's see what we have here. We have a King Kong 10 tote, based on our high quality 10 tote line. We have a premium motion statue of Peter Venkman. And he talks. He includes all sorts of dialogue. He's a great statue, highly detailed. Speaking of Ghostbusters, we also have the metal sign of the subway. So
wow,
nice,
that's cool.
nice little item to hang up in, your place. And then we have a license plate frame from Jurassic World. And is it, this is the thing. In Jurassic Park, didn't they call it Isla Nublar or Isla Nublar? Which one is it?
I think it's Isla Nublar.
I think so. Yeah.
Is it Isla Nublar?
I
Yeah,
think
my
so.
wife, who's a lot more literate than me, just corrected me. She said it is Isla too. So we'll take that.
2 days ago, so you think. But
Yeah. And then we also have Temple Run Demon Monkey plush, which is a lot of fun. And then a DC Bombshell lithograph set.
that's
And
cool.
then last but not least, one of our higher end collectibles, two more things. An Outlander pop-up note card set from the show. And then, last but not least, a premium motion statue of Harley Quinn, Amakami style. So, yeah. And again, all of this in total retails for $250, and every box is different. So, there you go.
And 2% of boxes have a little voucher that gets you something extra, don't they?
They do. They're called golden tickets. I went a little cheesy on them when I designed them, and they're signed by me. So that doesn't add any value at all. What you're looking for is the prize, and the prizes are fantastic. Trust me.
I believe that. That's funny. All right. Let's see, what questions did we have? Mike Nelson wanted to know, are we going to get another author plush from you guys?
We've been looking around at what we could possibly do, but nothing is official yet. We really love doing the George R.R. Martin plush. That was fun.
It was fun.
So we'll see what happens. And he's not an exclusive. He's just a Brad. You have to forgive my dog.
It's fine.
Yeah, I forgot about this guy. I'm very sorry. Batman metal miniature as well. And there's a deal right now. If you go online, you can get him and a Cyborg metal miniature for a really, really nice discount. So, but yeah, for the author, going back to the author plush, no, not sure, no plans right now, but hopefully soon. I personally would love to see like a Stephen King one.
That's what I was thinking. Stephen King one would be good.
That would be awesome.
Someone did say that they on the chat. J.R. Wenzel said they want a Rob Liefeld plush.
There you go.
Nice.
All right. Iron Souls asked, how many Goonies bottle openers did you guys make?
1,000.
Awesome. So let's see here. Did we have any other questions for Tom?
I don't think so. I don't see any others.
I think you actually answered most of them through just showing off the exclusives.
Nice.
Odipella just asked, are statues a part of every mystery box?
Yes. So what we did try to do is, as I said, everyone is different. However, we did try to incorporate some common categories in there, and there are typically 2 statues per mystery box. One probably a higher end one, and one more of like higher end in terms of price, and one more kind of like kind of like the size of Ghostbusters or the way that Ghostbusters is.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, before we let you go, Tom, where can we find Factory Entertainment online?
You can find us at factoryent.com, or also in our booth or in all of our social, Twitter, Instagram, all that, at factoryent. And then booth number 2647 during the show, where I will be there, and I will give you a hearty handshake or a high five, which,ever you'd prefer.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
And a free button. We're sending out buttons too. I'll give you a button if we still have some, while supplies last.
Oh, I had a question. Are you allocating per day, or is it just first come, first serve until you sell out of an item?
First come, first serve until we sell out of an item. We are going to try to allocate some things, but historically what we've done is it's first come, first serve. We might make an exception for the Jurassic bottle opener, but we'll see. You might come by the booth on certain days when we'll tell you it's sold out for the day. But typically, we just try to make everybody happy. And if that means having to stretch it out, that's what we'll do. So it's all going to depend on how people react. So we'll see.
Okay, we've had a couple more quick questions. Stanaka16 asked, have you announced the winners of the different exclusives contests that you've been running?
Yes, we have. Every single one of them. So if you're asking, I'm sorry.
Basically, yes. And then Robert asked, what does the golden ticket get you? So do you want to just explain that a little bit more?
So it'll be an item worth $250 or more. A single item worth $250 or more. And I can't tell you any more than that.
So okay. The mystery box with $250 worth of stuff, and inside may be a ticket that also gets them another item worth a minimum of $250.
Correct. Yes. Not of their choosing. It's going to be something that we choose for you as purveyors of fine collectibles. But trust me, you love it.
And is there a limit on the mystery boxes? How many do you have a limit on how many you're bringing?
I believe the most we will bring in total or produce in total is around 150.
Okay.
Makes sense. Any unannounced surprises at the booth only? And obviously, I would assume that's a yes or no question.
Yes, there is. And I'll give you guys some. Yeah, I'll tell you some because it's some of them are not so much a surprise because they've been seen before. But what is surprising is because we're coming up around, as long as we've been a company, start to look at what we've done in the past and maybe we can improve upon some things we've done in the past. If you're a fan of the Princess Bride, you're going to love what we have in store. We're talking about reproducing the Inigo Montoya prop replica sword that we did from way back when. And we are also talking about, and this isn't exactly a secret, but there's a good chance you'll see a golden gun at the show. And this one's a little different, and it's going to be really interesting.
Sounds cool.
And more surprises. But those are the two I'm willing to divulge now. So
that's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, Tom, I think we're going to let you go, but we will see you in, 15 days.
I don't even want to think about it. I wish I still had 45.
Right? Same over here.
All right. Thank you, Tom, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you there.
See you.
Bye. All right.
As we stare at Tom as he clicks.
There we go. Okay. Well, that was fun, right? I always love Factory Entertainment. They're just really cool guys who make really cool stuff.
So speaking of 15 days until Comic-Con, that means the news is coming a little fast and sometimes very furious.
Yes.
But first, let me answer one question we got from Sergeant Finley, which is, what's with this music? Which I guess he's talking about the theme of the opening music, and we decided to change it, and that song is called Cheese, which could be not more appropriate. Could be more appropriate for this show. So we decided to go away with LiveJournal, and we got Cheese instead. So I think it's pretty much a wash on the theme songs.
I don't know. I like cheese. We wanted something different, but to the two of you who have been asking me now for 3 years to stop saying "everybody go shawarma" at the end, no,
it's never gonna change ever.
Nope. Sorry. All right. Shall we get to the news? Because there was a whole lot of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
All right. So obviously the biggest news since last week is that we officially found out that Comic-Con International is using an online lottery system for the biggest booths for exclusives, which is Funko, Hasbro, Lego, and UCC Distributing. And that as of today, they are also using, or as of yesterday, sorry, they are also using it for autographs for at least Warner Brothers, Fox, and a couple of the DC signings. Basically, if it was ticketed up in sales previously, it's now an online lottery.
Right. If they had a ticket that they had a line for, that they had a row for somewhere on the back stairs, they're moving it to the online lottery.
Yes.
Because Comic-Con wants to get rid of lines.
And it makes, I know that there's so many opinions about this, but this to me makes a whole lot of sense because there have been so many issues with those backstairs over the last few years. And I feel like Comic-Con International went, you know what? We can't police it. So let's come up with something else. So that's what they've done. So, yeah.
And obviously some booths are deciding to continue running their own, like Marvel, and others will continue to do their ticketed signings at their booth, where you have to, basically get there first thing and hopefully get a ticket, which that's still going to be difficult to do. But yes, for these ones, they're going to, and we don't know if they're going to be adding any more at this point.
No, we don't. If they do add any more, I would expect it to be similar to the ones that were, again, ticketed up in sales before. So in addition to like WB, Fox, and then a handful of the DC signings, usually the only other ones up in sales that were like ticketed lottery were things like Man in the High Castle, a couple of others. Shadowhunters, I think last year was maybe a lottery draw. There's not that many, but we have heard from a couple of people who are having autograph signings up in sales that they are, it sounds like, still doing ticket draws up in sales for those. Like I know Voltron said that they were doing it. I feel like Star versus the Forces of Evil or whatever the heck that Disney show is called, so they're doing that as well. So I'm not at all certain that those will join, but yes, there may be more added later. One that I would expect to be re-added later is, if you paid attention yesterday, there were 2 Warner Brothers DC theatrical signings that magically disappeared sometime between last night and this morning.
And they may be back, who knows? Some people still have screenshots of them, so I mean, they're still on mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I feel like once the schedule comes out and Comic-Con International is like, see, look, Warner Brothers officially has a movie panel, then they'll magically reappear. But we'll see. But yes, it is absolutely worth rechecking.
So moving on to other news, we'll get back to that if people ask questions about it. In other news, the replacement moderator for the Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead panel was announced today, and it is Yvette Nicole Brown, which is an awesome choice.
It is an awesome choice. I'm really excited about that. We still don't have exact cast for it, but Deadline did report today a couple of cast members who they expect to be there, which to me would be like AMC said these people will be there. We just don't have the full list, but we will see.
And then TV Guide announced their panel today.
Yes. So the fan favorites, they do this every year. They're going to be back this year on Saturday in the Indigo Ballroom. And they've got a whole bunch of people from a whole bunch of shows like Winona Earp, The Magicians, The 100, Archer, Krypton. But the biggest news, honestly, is that they're bringing cast members from 3 shows that otherwise aren't going to be there this year. So Tom Ellis is going to be there for Lucifer, which is really big news. Robert Buckley is going to be there to represent iZombie. And then David, not even going to try to pronounce his last name, from Gotham, basically young Bruce Wayne. They will all be on that panel. So especially if you're a fan of any of those 3 shows that won't be having a full panel, this is a great chance to still get some kind of an appearance from that show.
And in the Blumhouse Universal Films panels, Glass and Halloween, really just a small update, and that's basically that Jamie Lee Curtis is indeed attending because she basically posted that she's going to be there. So, yeah.
Yeah. We still don't have a time for that panel either, though, which is frustrating me, but that's okay. In other news, so before, and you've all, not before anyone asked, you've all already asked like 800 times. We don't know when Conan tickets are going on sale, okay? That's what I have for you. But what we do have is that GameStop has 3 Conan summer convention Funko Pop figures up for sale on their website. They released July 19th of Comic-Con. No one has officially said these are Comic-Con exclusives, but the fact that they are summer exclusives, they release on July 19th with all the rest of Funko's exclusives, and they were logged into GameStop system as SDCC. tells me that these have something to do with the convention. These are not going to be the ones that they give out at the show. So I have no idea. Maybe they're going to be selling these at like the GameStop booth or the TBS booth. Maybe. I have no idea. I have no idea what these have to do with Comic-Con, but I'm telling you it's something. So, but if you don't want to wait for Comic-Con, you can go order them now. Yay.
And based on the fact that Amazon was all over the badge box, you could probably assume that they were going to have a big presence, and they are. And they will be bringing Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan for both a panel and an offsite, and it looks like the offsite's going to be pretty intense. They're also going to be bringing Man in the High Castle, and the offsite is going to be called the Jack Ryan Experience. At the corner of MLK and First, and extends back into the adjacent parking lot. So it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It's basically going to take the place of offsites like Blade Runner last year. That was a fully immersive world that you step into, and I think they're going for the same kind of a feel this year for Jack Ryan.
Okay, so real quick, we've had a whole bunch of questions now about those kind of Funko Pops. So the ones that we are like 95% sure that they will be giving out at the show and through other means are not the GameStop ones. Those are, as far as we are aware, Ant-Man Conan, Poe Dameron Conan, Hellboy Conan, and Predator Conan. And these are separate. Again, I have no idea how it's going to tie into Comic-Con, but I'm telling you, they're going to have something to do with Comic-Con. But these are like shared exclusives with GameStop, so you can pre-order them now. There you go.
There you go. And
there you go.
Also, I forgot to mention that Good Omens is also going to be coming from. Is that good from Amazon or?
Yeah, Good Omens is going to air on Amazon. The other thing that I'm really interested in with that Amazon thing that I wanted to mention is for Homecoming, Sam Esmail is coming, and I'm so hopeful that that means we actually get Mr. Robot like with a real panel again this year. So come on, USA, and announce your panels, please. Star Trek will be back at the convention this year. They've got a couple things going on. They're getting an upgrade all the way to Hall H on Friday. They're going to have a whole bunch of the cast members, including Doug Jones, Anthony Rapp, just a whole bunch of cast. And then they're also going to have their really cool offsite that they've done the last couple years. They'll be taking over the Michael J. Wolff Fine Arts Gallery again to present Star Trek Discovery Mirror Universe Gallery Takeover. It's going to be Thursday through Sunday of the convention, and it's going to feature a photo opportunity with the throne from the show, props and costumes from the show, an official Star Trek shop with SDCC exclusives, and then you can also find Star Trek all over the gas lamp, offering free intergalactic pedicab rides.
So Star Trek's basically covering the entire area there with promotion.
Yes.
They must have some confidence, actually, or it's just they want to make sure people are trying to buy the CBS All Access. One of the two.
Absolutely. All right. Speaking of CBS, let's start talking more about panels. CBS TV Studios announced their lineup this year, which is mostly on Thursday, but they're going to have Charmed. And it sounds like you're mostly going to get to see the pilot. I don't know if you'll get to see the whole thing, but it sounds like you'll get to see quite a bit of it. Tell Me a Story, which is it reimagines dark fairy tales as a dark and twisted psychological thriller, but that has Paul Wesley and James Wolk, so that's pretty exciting. Magnum PI is going to come, which, again, I would just like to state that I called that was going to be CBS's weird panel of the year. And then the one I'm so freaking excited about is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is finally getting a panel at Comic-Con, which makes sense because they're doing the offsite. So if they're all already there, why not have a panel? Rachel Bloom and her co-creator, Aileen Brosh McKenna, are the only ones currently listed on that panel. But again, everyone's going to be in town, so I wouldn't be surprised by some special guests on that. And then there's also going to be a Twilight Zone marathon screening where they're going to give out some swag, it sounds like. And yeah, that's it for the CBS panels. They'll be all over the gas lamp again this year. Their swag this year is going to be like they're going to have a branded Ferrari for Magnum PI, and they're going to hand out red sunglasses and Hawaiian leis. They're going to give more free rides with other stuff. They're giving out some squeezable emoji things for some of their shows. So all CBS all the time.
And Paramount is returning to Comic-Con for the first time in 4 years, and they are bringing Bumblebee. And that is really the only thing that they're announcing that they're definitely bringing. This is one that actually I was looking forward to.
Deadline noted that we might get a little promotion for
Fallout.
Yeah, for Mission Impossible Fallout, which would make sense because Tom Cruise is actually in San Diego right now shooting Top Gun 2, which is also Paramount. So why not just drive him down the road? Right?
Right, exactly.
All right.
Back over a decade ago, that's essentially what happened when they were filming Bring It On, actually. And Kristen Dunst was driven down from North County, down to the convention. And I think she actually had just been wearing, did she wear her cheerleader outfit into the panel? She might have. I don't remember. But anyway, she showed up just from filming like that day. So they do that when they're filming in the area. They can just bring them in and book them back out and go back.
Right? Again, just drive them down the road.
But Bumblebee is on Friday in Hall H at 5 p.m. And this is one actually that, thanks to scheduling, I'm going to miss. And this is actually when I was probably most looking forward to coming to Comic-Con this year. So it's kind of a bummer.
I know.
I might try to make it work, but it probably won't.
That's okay. So Marvel Comics is back this year with all kinds of activities. And James, I'm actually going to let you talk about this one.
Really?
Really?
All right, I'll talk about this one. So this is for the comic side of the company, and we're getting a multitude of panels. Marvel Making Comics the Marvel Way on Thursday. The Spider-Man family on Friday. Also, the Marvel Knights 20th anniversary, basically the Cup of Joe panel that Joe Quesada annually did, is happening on Friday as well. And he's going to have his fellow creator, Jimmy Palmiotti, who was basically ran the Marvel Knights imprint with him back in the day. They're going to basically sit and talk about the 20th anniversary of Marvel Knights for an hour, which should be rather interesting. And then on Saturday, we have the next big thing, which is some of the editors and creators talking about what's coming up in Marvel. And then also on Saturday, we have Meet the Editor-in-Chief, which is C.B. Sapolsky is going to be talking about basically being the Editor-in-Chief now. And then on Sunday, for a special little panel for Marvel Unlimited Plus members and Marvel MasterCard card holders, and anyone who maybe scores an RSVP in some way, there's a panel on Sunday morning in Indigo, which Indigo usually doesn't get used on Sundays, but it is this year. There's a True Believers panel. And then also on Sunday in Room 5AB, there's an X-Men panel, which they haven't held a panel in a few years for the X-Men family. And a few of these panels are going to be giving away a variant comic. That's the X-Men panel and the Editor-in-Chief panel. And I think those are the only two that are giving something away. So if you want a free variant comic, those are the two panels to head to. But if you want Marvel information, you have a weekend full of information.
Yeah, absolutely. Boom Studios is also going to be back with a whole bunch of panels this year. They've got 3. Their first one is on Thursday, is Entertainment is LGBTQ. And they've got actually the showrunner for Winona Earp. They've got some of the talent from Lumberjanes. They've got some people from GLAAD. It's going to be a really cool panel. And then on Friday, they've got the Boom Box Summer Mixtape, which is just a whole bunch of their different authors and artists from, again, things like Lumberjanes, Giant Days, Fence, things like that. Then on Saturday, it's Boom Studios Discover Yours, and it's basically, again, just their come discover the things that you should be obsessed with. And they'll have people from Lumberjanes, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers, Lady Castle, all kinds of stuff. So those are all some really fun things. But in other panel news, Sci-Fi returns, and Sci-Fi has so much going on this year. So much. I think it's 10 panels. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's 10 panels. But they are bringing a couple of new series. They're bringing Night Flyers, which is going to they're bringing a whole bunch of the cast, including like Jodie Turner-Smith, that is based on the George R.R. Martin story. They also have Deadly Class, which is based on the Rick Remender comic, and that comes from executive producers Joe and Anthony Russo. That looks really cool. They've got panels for The Magicians, Winona Earp, Krypton, Sharknado for the very last time, Z Nation, Van Helsing, all kinds of stuff. And what I think was James and I's favorite panel last year, actually, The Great Debate, that which if you did not go, like that was truly just a joy to witness.
And one of the panelists from last year is now going to be the moderator, Aisha Tyler.
Yep, absolutely. And considering that Orlando Jones is also back in town and also doing things with sci-fi, he's bringing the drumline back. And then he's also apparently going to be just literally randomly wandering the gas lamp and handing out cosplay awards, which I think is amazing. Like, that just seems like a very Orlando Jones thing to do. So that's awesome. He will probably be on that panel as well. A couple of people have been asking about the parties. So Sci-Fi is basically doing two things this year with the new Children's Museum, which used to be the home of Nerd HQ. In the day, and I don't have the exact hours yet because they don't have the exact hours yet, but they're going to have some different things. Like they're going to have mystery boxes that you can go and purchase. And then the thing that's really cool is they're going to have a human claw machine. So it's an all-you-can-grab extravaganza, and basically I think they're going to like strap you into something and have you like grab for prizes like you're a human claw machine. So that's pretty amazing. But then at night on Friday and Saturday, they're bringing back the fan parties where you can just go and dance for free. It is going to be an RSVP this year. They originally announced first come, first serve, but that's no longer the case. But RSVP is not, the link isn't out yet, so stay tuned.
But there is no live show, no taping, nothing.
No, they're pushing all of their live content this year basically to TV interviews and Sci-Fi Wire, but that's not going to be like attendees can come and watch. I think that's just going to be like basic, your normal coverage kind of stuff. So
we're going to take a question from the chat real quick. Someone named Mark asked, how do I get into the quick draw panel on Saturday? And I think we know why he's asking that, because he's going to be on the panel and he's telling us the quick draw panel is on Saturday.
I like it.
So, hi, Mark. How you doing? That's pretty awesome.
And you should all go to the quick draw panel, actually, because it's amazing. All of Mark's panels are amazing. I love quick draw and I love cartoon voices. So both of those are awesome.
All right.
All right. What other news do we have, James?
We have a documentary that is going to be having a panel called From the Bridge. It's essentially a documentary about fans and being a fan and how fandoms kind of come to life, I think. And it will be moderated by Greg Grunberg, and writer-director Spencer Lee will be in attendance, along with Nichelle Nichols. Let's see, who else do we have here?
I think those are the big names. Yeah, Rod Roddenberry.
And a few others. George Takei is apparently going to be beaming in, probably a video message, but he will be the narrator of the documentary, so that's why he will be included as well.
Absolutely.
When? Thursday.
Yep. YouTube is, as far as I'm aware, for the very first time coming to the convention with two panels. They're going to have Origin in Indigo Ballroom on Thursday, and that they're bringing director Paul W.S. Anderson as well as a bunch of the cast like Tom Felton. And then we're also getting, what is the name of this other show? Impulse, which they're bringing Missy Pyle, Doug Lyman, Gene Klein, David Bardis. A bunch of those are actually the executive producers, but that's going to be from 12 to 12:50 in Indigo on Thursday as well. And then the news I was probably most excited about this week is surprise, surprise, not only are we getting Better Call Saul, which we pretty much knew because they were doing a premiere event that we announced a couple weeks ago, but we are getting a 10-year anniversary of Breaking Bad with basically the entire cast. So Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, Dean Norris, Anna Gunn, they're all coming back, along with a whole bunch of the Better Call Saul people like Bob Odenkirk, Giancarlo Esposito, Jonathan Banks. You're going to get all of those people. And it's basically going to be back-to-back panels on... Is this Thursday? Yes, on Thursday from basically 3:30 to 5:30 in Hall H. And that is going to be amazing. I can't believe they're doing this, but I'm so excited about it. And then that night will be the premiere event. So hopefully we will start hearing soon who won the ticket contest that they did for that.
It seems like 10th anniversary panels are kind of Comic-Con's thing. They're also doing Clone Wars this year. They did Firefly a few years ago. So everybody, maybe that should be one of our Friday fun polls next year is what 10th anniversary show is going to get a panel this year? No? Yes? No? So moving on to another announcement, Marvel TV is coming to Comic-Con with a ton of stuff. They are bringing Iron Fist, Cloak and Dagger, The Gifted, Legion, and some Marvel animation. No Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel, but they will have an autograph session with nobody announced. But Chloe Bennett will be there for the Marvel Rising animated panel, so she most likely will be there for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then anyone else that will be in town or that they can get into town for the day. There will also be a Cloak and Dagger offsite, and let me get the information on that real quick here. I'm not seeing my information on this, but it's going to be basically this thing where you can use the light and the dark powers in a little room, and they put you in this animation, and you can share it on social media. But it looks like it's pretty cool because it basically makes you go flying apart from someone else. So looks to be pretty awesome. And there's rumors, since Feige said it, of a Marvel Cinematic Universe 10th anniversary panel, but nothing has been announced on that yet. It's basically one of the only things Marvel hasn't announced yet.
And who knows? Maybe they're not going to do anything, but I still just am keeping hope alive. In other panel news, British channel Sky is going to be bringing a Discovery of Witches to Comic-Con. I don't believe we have a date or a time yet for this, but we do have the panelists, and it's a pretty stacked panel. It's got Teresa Palmer, Matthew Good, Alex Kingston from Doctor Who, Owen Teale, author Deborah Harkness. That's going to be pretty awesome. And it's based on Deborah Harkness's series. So if you're a fan of that or a fan of any of those actors, this is going to be a really cool opportunity.
And Sony announced that they will be coming again for the first time in a few years, and they're going to be bringing Venom and Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie. We don't have any cast members listed, but we can basically expect probably Tom Hardy, Riz Ahmed, and Michelle Williams possibly to show up for the Venom panel, and who knows who else because of all the different voice cast. But Shamik Moore is already confirmed for the other Hall H panel, the RZA panel, the Wu-Tang. So he should be there, and also Haley Steinfeld because she's going to be there for Bumblebee. We know that now.
Yeah.
So who knows who else will be there, but probably at least those two.
And I do want to point out that Deadline, who announced the news, they did note that it would come as no surprise should Spider-Man Tom Holland make a surprise appearance. And obviously that's not confirmation. We know nothing. I don't know that at this point Sony even knows if they're bringing him, but they did let him announce the title at, what was it, Ace Comic-Con? So if they let him do that at Ace Comic-Con, you would think that they would want him at San Diego Comic-Con.
Did they let him, or did he just pull a Tom Holland?
Well, it could have gone either way, really. I think that's still up for some debate.
So there were a ton of other panels announced. Super Troopers 2, Stargate, Stand Against Evil, Preacher, a bunch of Marvel games, Twin Peaks, We have over 200 on our collected panels list now, if you want to check it out on our site.
And just because we get asked this question all the time, the official panel schedule, complete panel schedule, will start coming out this week. It should start coming out on Thursday. And the way that works every year is we'll get Thursday's complete panel schedule this Thursday, Friday's complete panel schedule this Friday, so on and so forth. The Wednesday schedule comes out with a Thursday on Thursday. So, and you can also tune in to our Breaking Down the Schedule podcast, which we do every year, which is basically where we look at all of the major panels, all of the major rooms. And that's where we get really in depth of like, now that we know the complete schedule and we know where things are, how early do we think you need to line up to get into this panel? How early to get into that panel? So on and so forth. And we will have the times of both of those here at the end of the episode.
All right, and we have a couple of questions we should go over real quick. The first one from Twitter, which I am looking for, from Ricky on Twitter, which is, do you think they will use the lottery portal for Hall H? No, but they're surprised us this year by using it for the exclusives. So, because we didn't know if they were going to use it for that, we kind of assumed they would just use it like they did at WonderCon, just for the signings. We don't think so, but never say never, because they can be surprising sometimes.
Absolutely. And then we had another question. Black Belt Jose asked, any idea if there will be a way to get a Conan Pop without going to the show? There always is. They typically, during Comic-Con week, they actually give several away through their website. So it's actually a good idea to check out their website during the convention. And then they also have all kinds of other ways to win them. I know, Mike, when you asked this question, Mike Nelson in our chat said that they used to give them away at was it the Marriott or the Manchester? Okay. Well, they didn't do that last year, so who knows if they'll do it again this year. But they gave them away through a whole bunch of other means last year, like they were given away every day over at the TBS Rect offsite. They had street teams roaming around, handing them out. They did all kinds of other stuff. So basically, just keep your ear to the ground. We'll tweet whatever information we can. Definitely make sure that you're following Conan on all the social media, and good luck.
Yep. So those of us asking questions about which full list of panels or whether it's going to be hard to get into a certain room, we will be answering as much of that as we can on our Breaking Down the Schedule podcast on Friday and Sunday, this coming Friday and Sunday.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to offsites. And the question that you are all asking is, when will Conan tickets go up? And the answer is, I don't know. My guess is not tomorrow, because it's July 4th. That's the best I have for you. So one thing that I will point out, though, last year they went up early. They went out, I think, sometime in June. But in 2016, I believe that the tickets went out on either July 5th or July 6th. So I would say that we are very much on that kind of timing. So we're not really late, even though it might feel like it. So there's plenty of time. We do, however, know the guests this year.
We do. And on Wednesday, they announced what will be airing, not when filming. So airing on Wednesday will be the cast of Breaking Bad. Airing on Thursday will be the cast of Predator.
Well, but here's the other thing. Wednesday's taping has to air Wednesday because they have nothing else to air. Thursday's taping has to air Thursday because they will have already aired Wednesday.
Friday.
Yeah.
So once they hit Saturday's airing, which is going to be the cast of Glass, which basically means we know who's going to be showing up for Glass, which is Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, Sarah Paulson, and Anya Taylor-Joy, and the writer-director M. Night Shyamalan. And then this airs Sunday is the cast of Aquaman, which also basically spoils that there's going to be an Aquaman panel. Kind of assumed it, right?
I mean, they already announced we were getting a trailer. I think we all knew it was coming.
Trailer. Now we know we're going to get cast.
Oh, whatever.
Now we know.
So last year was all kinds of funky because they had that one show that basically wound up moving times. But previously, the way that this always worked was that the Friday taping is actually the one that airs on Sunday, which would mean that the Friday taping would be Aquaman. That's not confirmed. When I talked to Conan's people, they said they didn't totally know the schedule yet, but they'd let me know. But that would very much be my guess, because that's the way that it worked in 2015 and 2016.
And it makes sense because obviously heading over to Conan takes a bit of time out of the day. And if they're going to be doing a panel and then press, they probably don't want them being taken away from all of the press duties that they have for before and after the panel.
Yeah.
And so, switching the days to where if they film it on Friday for Aquaman and then have them do the panel the next day, and then they film they do the panel for Glass on Friday and then film Conan on Saturday, that lets them stay in town and have time to do all the press and everything else like that. So it makes sense to switch them up because I think that's kind of what is possibly what the problem was last year. Maybe they didn't feel like they had time to get someone in there, so they had to shift days. But
probably.
So we'll just have to wait and see, and we'll find out what those Friday and Saturday tapings are going to be.
We are, however, getting a whole bunch of questions right now in the chat about the second Conan O'Brien offsite, the House Coco that was teased on the trailers. And that is actually going to be a comedy show. Each night during the week of shows, fans will have the opportunity to win exclusive Conan access in San Diego. Thanks to State Farm, life will go right for a few lucky congoers who will be rewarded VIP tickets to attend that night's Team Coco House comedy show and show tickets for the following day. So that second offsite is going to be a comedy show.
But that State Farm thing is pretty awesome because you're going to get comedy show tickets and the next day's Conan taping.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So another cool thing going up at Comic-Con this year
is the greatest offsite this year, obviously. So Taco Bell is doing a 25th anniversary of Demolition Man and offsite.
Before we get started,
yes.
Let's put into that in a second. Everyone's going to ask, how do you enter the State Farm thing to win Conan tickets? No clue. You'll find out later.
Yeah. When they announce it, we'll share with you. That's literally all the information we have right now.
All right, now let's do the tacos.
Taco Bell. All right, so Taco Bell, they're doing, again, a 25th anniversary of Demolition Man, and they're bringing a pop-up of basically the Taco Bell from the future from that film to Comic-Con. They're taking over like an upscale steakhouse. It's going to be amazing. They're going to have free food, and they're also bringing back their nacho fries, which are like seasoned fries served with nacho dipping sauce. They're bringing those back, so I'm very much guessing that those will be there. But it's going to be free food nightly from Thursday to Sunday from 6 p.m. to midnight. And then no badge is required. And then they're also going to have some exclusive Taco Bell and Demolition Man merchandise available for purchase. So I just can't believe that my KFC statues left me, but now I get a pop-up Taco Bell at Comic-Con. And not just a pop-up Taco Bell, but like a pop-up upscale Taco Bell.
Right? But also the fact that they understand and they're running it at night.
Right? So. Yes. So this is going to be amazing. I'm actually super excited for this.
The lines are going to be pretty crazy for that, though.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So just today we had an go ahead.
No, J.R. Wenzel just asked, are they taking over that strip club steakhouse? It's not that one. It's called like Gray something, but it is a really cool steakhouse. It's just not the strip club one.
So today, Scared Diego event returns to Comic-Con. They did it for the first time last year, and it'll be bringing some. It'll feature a screening of. Well, they're doing a screening this year, or are they just doing like sneak peeks? Anyway,
it sounded like just sneak peeks
in the gas lamp on July 18th at 9:30, and tickets will be available. Well, most likely through WB Tickets, but nothing is available yet.
Yeah, that's how they gave them away last year. So my guess is very much that's how it will be done again, but no official word. And then Chuck Jones, they are doing their usual gallery events. They've got all kinds of really cool offsites throughout the week, including like a Star Wars tribute. They've got Disney actor Ryan Ochoa. They have Marvel Comics special guest artist James C. Mulligan. They've got Fabio Napoleone. They've got some graffiti artists, and then they've got Chuck Jones's grandson himself to talk about Chuck Jones and his history with Looney Tunes and all of that. And all of their events, as always, are free and open to the public, but they do recommend that you RSVP, and you can either call or send an email, and all that information is on our site.
And the Hello Kitty Cafe returns to Comic-Con this year after skipping last year. It's a food truck. It'll be in the Experience at Comic-Con over in the Petco, formerly Petco Interactive Zone. And you will be able to get all kinds of treats like donuts and things. And it will be open every day, Thursday through Sunday, open at 10 a.m. and closing at 7 most days and 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Yep. Another offsite that's kind of coming back this year is Sherlock CC. And basically, it used to be a Sherlock fan party, but this year it's going to be a Sherlock scavenger hunt. Tickets are only $5, and basically you just play throughout the week. And then at the end of the week, they're going to tally up the points from however many activities you were able to accomplish, and then they will reward the winner with all kinds of merch. It sounds pretty cool. All of that information is on our site.
And the fandom party is returning. The tickets went on sale and immediately sold out.
Yep.
But fandom will be doing some contests on their Twitter to win tickets. Correct?
Yes, I believe they said starting Monday, July 16th.
So the week of Comic-Con, you will need to be paying attention to their Twitter to win some tickets. Yeah. And that Twitter, I think, is Get Fandom?
Yes, it is. If this is your first time at Comic-Con, or even if it's not, it's always a good idea to check out Sean Marshall, aka Parks and Cons, awesome videos where he basically just takes you around the convention center and the gas lamp and shows you what's what. He has another one that he released this last week called Outside the Con, and it's his visual guide, and you should definitely check that out.
And speaking of scavenger hunts, Buffy the Vampire Slayer out of left field is coming in to do a scavenger hunt this year. 20th Century Fox is running it, and you'll be able to basically, you have to locate a vampire's nest somewhere across the gas lamp and throughout the convention center on Saturday, July 21st. Each location you'll be rewarded with prizes, including pops, posters, stickers, pins, etc. You will also be able to get 2 shirts. Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic book gray t-shirt and a red t-shirt. And it basically, one of them is just Buffy and Spike, and the other one is almost the same image, but it says Buffy Slays San Diego. So I'm pretty sure that one will sell out first.
Yeah, I completely agree. Funko Fun Days, as I think everyone at this point should know, sold out very quickly a couple of months ago, but we learned this week that the theme is going to be 80s prom. And if you weren't able to get tickets, it will actually be live streamed this year, so you can watch it from home. And then we had a couple of questions, starting with Night Bodega, who asked, when will On Peak release our info to the hotels? I called the hotel and they don't have my info. So it's my understanding, actually, that the hotels do have your information. They just may not have it inputted yet. In fact, I called my hotel today, and that's basically exactly what I was told. So On Peak, the way that this works is On Peak sends that information over to the hotel, but then the hotel has to actually input that information into their system. So that's why right now some hotels have it inputted, some don't. So you still have 2 weeks until the convention starts. Don't panic. Just give them a call again, like this weekend.
And another question we have on Twitter from Cooper Bosby is, why is there no Shadowhunters? And I know the Shadowhunters fans are very upset that there is no Shadowhunters at Comic-Con. And even though the final schedule, the official schedule is not out, it's looking pretty dim that they are going to show up. And the real reason, I think, is that the show has been canceled. It is not being renewed. And therefore, because it only has to play out the last half of the final season, the network probably has decided that they don't feel it is worth promoting. And that's the basic business decision. Anything else that you may assign to why it's not showing up is basically going to be subjective reasoning, but the basic reason is that there's no money in it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in a lot of ways the same reason why WB isn't bringing some of their mid-season shows, especially the ones that are ending. It just doesn't necessarily make sense.
Yeah, as we mentioned in previous podcasts, it costs a lot of money to bring cast members into San Diego to host a panel. The panel itself won't cost much money, if any, but getting those people there in hotel rooms and all of the PR people and all that costs money, and they're not going to bring it in for a show where they're no longer going to be making a continued profit on it, because TV's a business and they need to make money, not spend it.
Yep. Real quick before we move on to exclusives here, Fire Fairy 1212 asks, so what would you guys guess is left to be announced for those big gaps in the Hall H schedule? I mean, one of those is absolutely Warner Brothers. We don't have an official day or time or anything like that. We also don't have a time right now for Universal. I had to think about that one. Beyond that, I don't know. I have truly no idea what else could possibly go on Saturday except for that WB, and that still leaves a pretty big open gap. Netflix has not announced anything.
Right. Netflix is possible. They could decide to move Doctor Who to Saturday.
Yep. Yes, they could. So that is absolutely an option. But beyond that, I don't know, guys. I really don't.
I know. It's kind of crazy how empty that Saturday is, because without Marvel being there, we don't have kind of a, this is going to be what happens on Saturday night now. So who knows?
I certainly don't. Well, and again, it's just really interesting because even with WB presumably being on Saturday, it just feels like there's way more movie studios right now on Friday. I mean, it feels that way because there are way more movie studios on Friday, but it's a really interesting schedule. So I'm curious to see how it all shakes out. All right, on to the exclusives.
On to the exclusives. First up is Hasbro, and Hasbro announced more exclusives as they do, and today they revealed their Magic the Gathering set, the Timeless Legends, 5 Planeswalkers cards with art. Let me see if I can find, I think it was is it Therese Nielsen? I don't think I have the artist name right in front of me here, but they're great looking cards, and they will be $99. We have the My Little Pony 1983 Greatest Hits set, which will retail for $20. It's 3 cassette tape inspired collector cards will be included with these 3 ponies. We also have the Transformers Generations Power of the Primes, Throne of the Primes, which features Nexus Prime, Amalgamus Prime, Prima Prime, and the legendary 13th Prime Comic-Con exclusive Prime Master figures. This set, I don't think we have a price on that in our thing here. And then also we have the Bumblebee Volume 1 Retro Rock Garage Transformer figure there. And then we also have, I'm not sure if we had this one before, but the Defenders are on there. There's going to be a Defenders 5-pack for the Marvel Legends series because there's a Legends series every year. And this one's pretty cool with how it's packaged in the subway.
Yep. We just had a question in the chat. Do you think any more Star Wars exclusives will be announced? I assume that's for Hasbro. My guess would be no. We already have 2. Truthfully, I think we probably have most, if not all, of Hasbro's exclusives. If we get any more, I would guess it would be 1 or 2 more tops. Would you say that's fair?
Weird. Maybe, because the last few years they've been doing a single. I don't know if they did one last year, but they've done this the Jyn Erso and the Stormtrooper. Before that, they did a single Star Wars figure, not like a multi-pack or anything. It was just like a early release exclusive figure, and I don't know if they're going to do that, but those have always been announced within days of the con. So we might get one, we might not.
Well, they've got that Han Solo figure this year, don't they?
Bit of a collector's pack, though. It looks more expensive, but you never know with Hasbro. They always throw something into the mix.
That's right. They're going to do whatever they want. All right. For Monogram, the big news again for them is actually that they will be doing pre-sales this year starting next week. I believe that these pre-sales are for shipping only, not for booth pickup. But if you want to make sure that you get these items, that is definitely an option. They announced the last of their Comic-Con exclusives this week, including a Rick and Morty Pickle Rick themed gift jar set, which is actually super cute. It's literally set up like a pickle jar, and it's got all kinds of Rick and Morty goodness in it. They also announced some other stuff like a Nightmare Before Christmas mugs and pen gift set, a Stitch and Lilo lanyard set, and more.
So one of our favorites, Toddland, announced most of their exclusives, and they put them up for pre-sale for booth pickup for both the Family Guy and the Bob's Burgers exclusives. And we have a ton of stuff, and there's so much stuff we're not going to go through it all, but we have that Rupert there. We have T-shirts. We have a Iki's Hula Peter. I mean, just so much stuff. The T-shirts are themed to San Diego, which is awesome. They have, they have pins, bags, socks,
Vinyl,
the
plush,
Kid Robot copies. Yeah, I mean, just basically just a wide array of products. And from what I understand, there may be even more exclusives coming soon.
I think he said that they were pushing them off to Monday, but yes, there is another announcement coming. So look for that on our site.
Are they still up for pre-order now? I mean, when are they? When they're closing pre-orders? Because I know they're stopping orders of shirts sooner than the rest. I think.
I think you're right. I think that they were at least closing pre-orders for extended sizes either yesterday or today. So if you haven't ordered yet, definitely go look at Todd's Twitter account and find out if that's today and get on that if you need an extended size. But I think he might have pre-orders open a couple more days. So, yeah.
And we already did all of the factory entertainment exclusives.
Yeah. So let's...
One we actually is the Stanley God Woke book that will be signed that they have available at the booth.
Yep. Yeah. So let's move on to Funko, shall we?
We shall. There is so much Funko, but they are supposedly done because on the final update on the 29th, last one that they were releasing, but we don't think they will because there's also the fact that they mentioned that there is a Doctor Who announcement coming, and there hasn't been a Doctor Who announcement yet. So as you can see, there's all of these Funkos coming from, let's see, there's the Spastic Plastics. There's, believe it or not, a Golden Girls skateboard deck, which is awesome. There's some ad icons. Let me see what else we have. We have some more TVs with the Green Hornet and the Riverdale Josie figure, the Ron Swanson with cornrows, which is my favorite, Dustin at the Snowball Dance, just the usual assortment of Funkos that you can expect every year. And
that is correct. Yes.
Terry's exclusives of the show.
Oh my God. I know. I was like, I never buy stuff. I buy art, but I don't buy like exclusives. And then this came out and I was like, damn it. All right. So ABC for the first time are doing exclusives and oh my God, they look amazing. First of all, anyone who knows me knows that I am all about the TV. So I'm so pumped about this. They've got all kinds of stuff for so many of their shows, like everything from Once Upon a Time to the Golden Girls, Home Improvement, Lost. There's all kinds of stuff. But the best of it, oh my God, there's even like Schoolhouse Rock stuff. Like it's amazing. But the best stuff has to be the Golden Girls stuff. Like, I mean, look at that Stay Golden San Diego pen. It's fantastic.
There's shirts. There's a shirt just like that pin.
Yeah.
There's Golden Girls and Moon shirt. There's sock.
Oh, I know.
And yeah, I mean,
even honestly, like even the stuff that's not like exclusive specifically to the show, I'm like, I want that Grey's Anatomy shirt. Like, I want the Conjunction Junction shirt. All of my money now is basically going to the ABC booth. So, damn you, ABC. Yeah.
So buttons, shirts, socks, prints. I mean, they're just. I mean, it's like
amazing.
they're like, here, just like have everything. So awesome job, ABC.
Absolutely. I'm again just so excited for this, but also so sad for my wallet.
And previous special guest Justin Harder of Claw Studios announced his first exclusive today, and it's the Deadpool Hall H line sketch. It's his basically this year's version, because I think he did one last year as well. So this will be two color screen print, 10 by 20, and will be available for $40. And it is super limited, so make sure you pick it up early if you want to grab one. Plus, he will be doing sketches all weekend long at his booth, Small Press 008.
I think it's L08.
I see O on his tweet.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Patrick Ballesteros announced the next of his Can You Hear Me Now exclusives, which are, it's, again, the way that this works is basically you have interchangeable prints. They're each a different character talking into a tin can, so you can have whoever you want talk to each other. But it's for Up, it's Carl and Ellie. It's super cute. It's going to be $15 for the set. They're these little 4x4 prints. Freaking adorable. So you can go grab that one day at his booth, which is Artists Alley DD08. He will announce soon which day, which print sets will be available.
And Super 7 is back with a wide range of exclusives. And not only are they having their retail shop transform into Hordak's Lair, they're going to have a Universal Monsters bodega. And they are also bringing some exclusives to the show floor, including the Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon reaction, Metaluna Mutant reaction, Mummy Mutant, Wolfman Mutant reaction. All of these are going to be $15 each and carded. They have these, as you can see on the picture if you're watching live, the Universal Monsters felt pennants,
which I think are cool.
Yeah, they are cool. I haven't seen those since I was a kid. Those pennants like that, I used to get them like at Disneyland and places like that. Those are really cool. Those are going to be $25 each. They have the Universal Monsters soft enamel pins, which will be $12 each. They have the Optimus Prime Super Cyborg Optimus Prime 18-inch figure. That's $75. They have the Reaction Hammerhead Tribute Xenomorph Alien figure. And they have a Misfits Fiend glow-in-the-dark reaction figure. And the Iron Maiden Classic Union Jack 1.75-inch muscle figures 3-pack. And a Planet of the Apes Statue of Liberty action playsets that's debuting at Comic-Con. And an Alien coin. And
so much stuff. Just so much stuff. Yeah. The good news, though, is for those of you who wanted the Laughing Atom exclusive, that they will actually be doing online sales for now, it sounds like.
Yeah, I saw that today, I think. And you can just check. We'll put that information in if it's not in the Super 7 post, but you can also check the Super 7 site for that.
Yes, you can. And then we had some more news. Peanuts are teaming up with NASA for all kinds of exclusives this year at their booth. And they've got all kinds of stuff like pens and t-shirts and some little vinyl figures, buttons, all kinds of stuff. It's super cute. It's basically to celebrate how many years? 50 years of the partnership between NASA and Snoopy, yeah.
So if you're watching live, you can see the set of 5 buttons across the top there. They actually do say Comic-Con 2018 on them, and those are the free buttons that you get one per day with purchase. And from what I understand, if you buy something one day, you'll be able to keep that receipt and use it to get buttons on future days. All you have to do is show the same receipt.
Which is awesome. It's a really cool deal. So go buy stuff on Wednesday.
Yeah. And just remember to stop by every other day. So there were, I don't know, another 50 different companies with announcing exclusives minimum.
Oh my God.
Kid, Udon, DKE with their usual assortment of artist-created toys, including the Ewokopolis Now toy, which is amazing.
It is amazing.
Loot Crate yesterday's announced another pin. Diamond Select Toys, NinjaBot announced their
Black Panther
print, which you can get in actually a few different ways. I think they're doing some artists editions, some special screen print editions. So if you like that, there's going to be at least 2 ways to get it. Elhofer Design revealed some of her Comic-Con exclusives and debuts. Kodu Bukaya is going to be giving away some posters, right? I think some mini posters or something every day at the con.
Yeah.
Fat Rabbit Farm has more exclusives. Bluefin, Hermes Press, Graffiti Designs, ThinkGeek, Viz Media, Toynami, Titan Merchandise, Shout Factory, which will be giving away posters, I think with purchase, a multitude of different posters from different movies and TV shows every day. They will have some MST3K stuff that is for purchase. That's a special Comic-Con t-shirt and print, which is awesome.
It's awesome.
CineQuest, Beast Kingdom, and I mean, so many more. Just if you want exclusives, just go click on exclusives on our site and just scroll for days.
Literally, just scroll for days. Like, he's not kidding. There were probably like 100 different posts in the last week. It's ridiculous. All right, let's get to some of our reader questions. So Headless Ned Stark asked, do cartoon artists / creators typically sign autographs? A lot of them do. A lot of them you have to find the specific booths that they would be for. So like if someone is a Marvel writer, they might be signing a Marvel. If someone does art for Dark Horse, they might be doing art for Dark Horse. He also asked about the special guests. A lot of times the special guests also sign autographs. A lot of times they'll do those up in sales. We do not post the vast majority of the sales autograph signings to our list, specifically because here in probably within the next week, Comic-Con International will actually announce their sales autograph signing schedule, and all of that will be on that. So we keep track of those separately. But yeah.
Yeah, so the reason, if they're listed under special guests, typically they're going to be given an autograph slot if they want it.
Yes.
Typically it will be in sales. And I think that special guests will sign for free, but they are only required to sign the program book for free. I don't think they have to sign up. They can if they choose, but they are only required by Comic-Con policy to sign the program book.
Correct. All right. Do you want to take this next question?
Iron Souls asked, any word on a Netflix offsite? No. Is that the right answer?
That is the right answer. We haven't heard much from Netflix, really. But I definitely feel like they have stuff to announce, because we know for a fact that they're bringing more than just Iron Fist, which Marvel already announced. We know for a fact that at least the Toys That Made Us is coming, and that's Netflix. So there has to be something more coming. There just has to. So I have no idea at this point, now that we're like less than 2 days until the official schedule comes out and tomorrow's a holiday, when they would announce anything, but hopefully soon. And then Night Bodega asks, can we just walk into the Super 7 pop-up lair, or do we need a ticket to get in? I believe as of last year, you can just walk in. You used to need a special coin from the booth, but I was told that as of last year, that's no longer the case.
And Headless Ned Stark had a follow-up question about signings. And is there something there to sign in case you forget something, maybe a poster? And do they charge? And again, that is going to be entirely up to each individual person signing, whether they bring something and whether or not they're going to charge. So basically, once you know that they're signing there, you're going to have to plan ahead or see if there's any information about that. Luckily, there's a convention happening downstairs from sales, and if you don't bring something, I'm sure someone will have something you can purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to.
Someone might have something.
I do want to clarify one thing though, because we get asked this all the time. For at least the WB and Fox signings, you can't bring anything. They won't let you. They provide posters for them to sign, and that's like the only thing they'll sign. But those are like, most of the TV shows are that way, but those are really like the only hard and fast, like, don't bring something. For any of the comics people or authors or any of that stuff, like James said, it all just depends. All right. And then Night Bodega asked, I'm going to answer this one first, if that's okay with you. He asked, any more SDCC unofficial blog button sneak peeks? So I think most of you guys know we're doing Adventures of Prize Mule, and we've announced a couple of our buttons. Like here is, you can see this. I hope I win the SDCC bathroom lottery. I'm a real big fan of this one. We already showed this one off. And then we also have this one, which says, have badges shipped yet, with a very unhappy looking little guy. And then I'm going to show up one more, but we've got quite a few more. James asked me when Conan is being announced.
When is Conan being announced?
That's my answer. That's my answer. Yeah, so this is our soon Shruggy Guy button, which is really the answer to everything at Comic-Con. So that is one of our buttons that we will be giving away through Adventures of Prize Mule. But again, we will have all kinds of other amazing stuff.
Yes, we have more buttons.
And t-shirts. I got the t-shirts this week. They look really good.
Awesome. So Robert asked, with the online lottery happening, if you sign up for every time slot, does Comic-Con Lottery Gods pick the early times for every day first, or is it random, like does Friday morning fill up before Saturday? We have no clue how they run their lottery.
If I just cover up that soon, that's my answer.
Just the Shruggy. We don't know how they do it. We don't have any information from Comic-Con how that happens. I mean, they can do whatever they want, however they want to do it, and they can basically never tell us how it happens, so we don't know.
Absolutely. But you know what? I'm sure that someone is going to sit there and try to like plot it out and be like, oh, but this must be the algorithm. And good luck with that. But yeah, Comic-Con National is truly the only one who knows. The only thing that we do know for sure is that for a couple of the exclusive time slot ones, you can only win. For Hasbro and Funko, you can only win once for the entire show. So if you win on Thursday at 2 p.m., you can't win for Saturday at 5 p.m. Not going to happen. That kind of thing.
Holly Henning wants to know what booth number for those pins you showed off. No booth.
Yeah, no booth. So if you don't know, we do this silly little thing called Adventures of Prize Mule, which is basically where we have these stuffed unicorns, and we partner with all kinds of amazing companies like Hallmark, Hasbro, Entertainment Earth, Factory Entertainment, all kinds of Kid Robot, Mondo, all kinds of really cool people. They send us stuff, and we post photos throughout the convention and the gas lamp, basically, of the mule with something. And if you come and find us, you can win those prizes. If we give away the prizes, we have buttons.
We'll stick around for like a minute or two for any second place through 10th place or whatever we feel like finishers, and hand you some of the other smaller prizes we have, like buttons, maybe lanyard if we have lanyards, sunglasses if we have them, whatever else we may be giving away. They're little prizes that at least you walk away with something for the running in the San Diego heat that you may end up doing if we're outside.
Yes, and we had this button last year, and we're bringing it back again, so I'll go ahead and show this off. But this says, I found the prize mule, and all I got was this button. So you could win this! Which, that's second prize.
Yes, it's awesome. So we also had Dan ask, this is my first Comic-Con, any life-saving advice? And I'm going to first of all go with Tom's, which is hydrate and don't party too hard. Comfortable shoes. If you can, 2 pairs of shoes to split and wear every other day so your feet don't get too tired from one pair.
And socks. I think people always forget to like change their socks. Change your socks. It helps.
You mean more than once a day?
I mean, you know what I mean.
All right.
All right.
All right. Oh, also, so just the other really quick things is there's a lot to do at Comic-Con. Pick one thing that you really want to make sure you get done each day, and anything else you happen to get finished and accomplish is bonus. That's kind of the golden rule, is make sure you get one get every day.
Yeah.
And your con will be awesome if you get at least that.
Absolutely. All right. Did we have any other questions?
I don't know. I don't see any.
Not immediately seeing anything either. All right. Well, then let's start wrapping this up. So we are doing an attendee of the week for, I guess, exactly 2 more weeks, this week and next. And if you would like to be featured as our attendee of the week, you can. There's an email where you can answer some basic questions about your experiences at Comic-Con, and if chosen, we feature you on our site.
And I'm going to answer a couple of real quick questions because we always get last-minute questions. Prectory asked, what is the age limit for panels? Unless it says it very specifically somewhere, there is no age limit on panels. And there typically isn't, except for some late-night stuff where they recommend it's not for kids. But I don't think they typically actually keep anyone out of panels.
I've never heard of them keeping anyone out of a panel.
Yeah, and sometimes there's language, so it just depends on, what you're comfortable with hearing, or someone young who is traveling with you hearing as well.
Yep.
And any panel questions, and again, scheduling stuff, we're going to answer on Friday and Sunday with podcast schedule schedule podcasts.
And the Friday one is going to be the same time as this one, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we will go over the very short Wednesday schedule, and then Thursday, Friday, and then on Sunday, that's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific time, right?
Yes, 3 p.m.
And that on that one, we'll go over Saturday and Sunday. And then since we're talking about it, we will also have what we think will be our final podcast of the season next Tuesday, where we will be joined by Kevin Eastman. So that's cool.
We're announcing that?
Yeah, I just did.
Kevin is joining us, the co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and current publisher of Heavy Metal, will be joining us on the podcast next week.
Look at James. He's like all ready and all official, and I'm just like, yeah, he's going to be on. All right. There's all kinds of compiled lists right now on our site, including, again, we have over 200 panels that we know of. We have a big compiled list right now, so that if you want to start making your panel schedule ahead of the official announce, you can go do that. We also have started our announced autographs and signing schedule. That is on our site as well. We post as many autograph signings as we can possibly find. So that will be updated usually all the way up through Tuesday night before the convention.
And if you still need a badge to Comic-Con, well, all hope is not lost, because there is a lot of contests on our contest hub. A lot of the radio stations locally in San Diego have started doing their contests. Unfortunately, it is, of course, a San Diego radio station and might be for locals only or for United States residents only. So just go check out the contest hub on our site and check out which ones you are eligible to enter. And I don't think we really need to discuss parking. I think anyone who wants it has gotten it by now. But if you still need parking, go check out the Ace Parking Comic-Con stuff and see what's available, because it's going to be not the convention center and not the Hilton Bayfront.
And apparently, if you need hotels, there's quite a few that have been popping up as well. So you might.
And the Marriott and the Embassy Suites, all throughout Gaslamp. And of course, there's still some further out if you just need to get a room. That's on the shuttle route. So there's plenty of hotel rooms available.
Absolutely. And then don't forget about our Under the Tents column, which is where we compile all of the little tidbits of news about basically everything that happens at Comic-Con. So right now we've been putting out about 2 a day. So there's lots and lots and lots of news. And yes, and lots. Our party to Fast to Furious Gaslamp Drift is happening. It will be at McFadden's Pub from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's free. You don't need a badge to attend. It's very casual. Just stop by, hang out. James and I will both be there, as will pretty much our entire crew. And we will have a couple of buttons for you. So,
all right. So join us, for one more week, it seems, of podcasts for the SDConCast. And then we'll be basically 1 week from Comic-Con, and we will be done podcasting unless something major breaks news-wise. But the new podcast schedule, again, just in case you didn't catch it, Friday, 6:30 p.m. normal time, different day for breaking down the schedule part 1. And then Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific, breaking down the schedule part 2. And then next Tuesday, the 10th, with Kevin Eastman as our special guest.
Yep. And we think that'll be our last one, but we reserve the right to change our minds.
Because we're crazy.
Yeah, we are. All right. Let's see here.
Our newsletter. Did it go out? I think it went out. Right?
It went out today. Actually, we've actually been sending these. We will send out another one next week, and then we'll see after that. But you can sign up for that. There's actually a link on the sidebar of our website where you can go sign up for that.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon, and you can also find me manning the blog Twitter. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I am everywhere at Dan Riegel, and you can check out geekshotphoto.com for photography links for my wife and I. And there are some updates on there, believe it or not, because Beth actually does something, unlike me. And also Beth, our producer, puts together the slides and shows them to you during the live show. She edits the show to put up on Stitcher and iTunes and all that, and basically makes sure that I'm here and sitting and ready to go every podcast.
All right. We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio, and the link is in the show notes.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all. I know we're not near the end, but thank you all for listening all year. We really appreciate that you tune in, that you're live, that you ask questions, basically for being here and listening to us talk for an hour or two every Tuesday. Thank you so much. And everybody, go
shawarma.
soon.